And don't forget the new intro.
New intro.
We have a new intro. I'll tell you the story.
Yeah.
By the way, we have the commissioner of Comedy Fight Club, Matt Maran.
Thank you. We
Hell
introduced the guest before the intro?
Huh?
Or is the intro going to play before you introduce me?
I don't give a shit how it works.
Okay. So now, have people seen the intro?
No. Well, yeah.
I mean,
yes.
as they're watching us talking now, have they
I put
seen
the intro on our Instagram already.
Oh, it's already, okay.
So
yeah.
people have seen the
Gotcha.
intro.
Tell me the story.
Okay. So we had a friend of mine was looking up our podcast,
Right.
The Donkey's Mouth, on
Welcome
YouTube.
to the Donkey's Mouth.
I'm
the co-host. Sam's not here. I'm taking over.
Wow, I love a gentrified podcast.
The Jews will replace us.
Actually, that's the new name. Is the Jew?
The Jew has replaced us.
We just put Jews in different situations. And they can just keep replacing people.
Yeah.
Like a sketch.
Yeah.
So what happened was someone was looking up our podcast on YouTube.
Yeah.
And above our page, another one called The Donkey's Mouth was coming up.
Right.
And that was odd because we had more subscribers, we have more views. So it doesn't quite make sense. I don't know if you can pay to be higher up.
I
on
think
YouTube?
you can. I think just keep, not to cut you off, but because I host Locker Room Talk, which believe it or not, there were a lot of Locker Room Talk podcasts and shows before we started.
Damn.
Just do it for like a year,
Yeah.
and you have enough stuff out there that you'll become the one that
that's
is seen more.
That's where I was confused because we've been doing ours for about a year and a half.
Okay.
And theirs is like 3 weeks old.
Oh,
at the
wow.
time.
That is, maybe they've paid to get theirs higher.
I would think so.
Yeah.
And the views were like 13 views, like
Yeah.
like 2 subscribers. I didn't quite understand why they were coming up first.
Yeah.
So I find them on Instagram
Right.
and I go, hey guys, just so you know, I've been doing my show for a little bit longer. Yours is coming up before mine on YouTube, which is a problem. And we have way more views and subscribers than you guys. So can you like change your name?
You sent that message?
Yeah.
Nice. Is that in the intro?
No.
That would be fun. What did they respond?
Yeah, like right away.
Oh, wow.
And the reason that I did this was because they're a Christian podcast.
Ooh.
So
What
I
is
went
Donkey's Mouth? Like, is that a term?
to the Bible.
Yeah.
So I guess there's a Bible verse somewhere where they go, and this came from the donkey's mouth.
Okay.
And they just went with that for their name.
Gotcha.
Well, we went, you know what would be funny?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
they did have they had the religious claim to it, but
Right.
you know, we were first.
Yeah.
But I just don't want people looking for my show like my friend was,
Yeah. And seeing another one.
and then finding a Christian podcast,
Yeah.
because that's disappointing.
Right.
And I also don't want people looking for a Christian podcast and then
say-
finding what the fuck we do here,
Yeah.
which is also really bad.
Yeah.
And they just went, well, why don't we just do like a conference call? And I went, why? Just change it.
Yeah.
So I go, whatever.
You went into a conference call with them?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And I had every intention of going, I don't know why we're doing this, but just change your fucking name. You have no reason.
Yeah.
And that was basically what the back and forth was,
Yeah.
but like more polite. And I lied. I was like, yeah, I like your guys' show. It's really fun. I didn't watch one fucking clip. I just saw Christian. Ugh.
Yeah.
And so after all this back and forth, they go, well, why don't you just change your name to From the Donkey's Mouth? And I go, that makes zero sense. And it's wordy.
Yeah.
And then I went, yeah. And also your logo looks exactly like mine. Like they use the exact same donkey that we had.
Real.
And that one made me
kind of
suspicious.
Yeah.
They only just, right.
I don't think there's exactly a limited number of donkey pictures out on the internet. That is, I feel like
No,
there's a lot of donkeys out there. If they pick the
Right.
same one,
It
I don't know.
was, it's like a cartoon donkey where like the nose
yeah.
is like exaggerated a
Yeah.
little bit. Not, it wasn't so cartoon. It was like looked more like a logo.
Right.
And the only difference was ours was blue and theirs was orange.
Okay.
So they could have just put it in a negative filter
Yeah.
because blue turns to orange.
Yeah. You got Mets colors together.
Yeah, sure. And then after like an hour, this guy is going
An hour on the phone with
discussing
the-
this. Yeah, stupid. And he goes, all right, how about this? My wife's a graphic designer. How about we make you guys a brand new logo, and we can just keep the name. And I went, well, graphic designer logos cost like $200-$300.
Yeah.
I went, and you guys are probably gonna quit doing this show soon.
Yeah. Did you ask him for an intro too?
No.
Oh, that one. I thought that's how the intro came to be.
Well, no. So kind of.
Okay.
So he goes, so what are you looking for? And I went, I want Crash Bandicoot, but as a crazy donkey.
Nice.
And he went, oh, all right. And
you're like fucking when like the South Park kids make a company and Cartman's on the phone like, I want Crash Bandicoot on my logo.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So a week later it comes.
Yeah.
It looks pretty good.
Yeah.
It looked pretty. I was pretty happy with it.
Yeah.
And I went, oh, fucking great. You know what? Do your show. I haven't seen one clip from them.
Yeah.
But I was like, yeah, whatever.
Have they released any more episodes since then?
I don't think so.
Yeah. They're not even doing a show.
I think we just got a free expensive ass logo.
Nice.
So we called our donkey Sid Washington Al Hadid Rosenberg or something like that.
Yeah. Does it spell something?
No.
Oh, wait. Usually when you do that many, I thought there was going to be some sort of acronym.
No,
you just like picked a bunch of random names.
Yeah. Well, they're all different cultures. We wanted to do that.
There you go.
And we're just gonna, you know how like metal bands will have like their character, like Iron Maiden has like Eddie, the guy that like is just on their album covers.
Yeah, someone was just telling me, I think it's the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones who have like a guy that just dances on stage with them.
Yeah.
He's just like one time at a show he danced and they were gonna kick him out and they were like, no, he's getting everyone entertained. They brought him on tour and now he's just part of the band.
Yeah, exactly. So now we're gonna use Sid for that exact thing.
Nice.
If we ever do a live show, I'm gonna buy a donkey rubber mask and like color his eyes to look right.
Right.
And then I'll just give a guy like $100 to just be obnoxious in the showroom.
So where does the intro come in?
The intro is, I'll show it to you. It is.
Is that good podcasting for me to watch a video?
It's fine because it'll be the beginning of this one. So it's fine.
Yeah. Okay, so is the intro like it has the logo they made in it? Prominently, I assume. Yeah.
So I gotta go to the Instagram. But I actually liked the way it came out. So I was like, this works. Whatever.
Yeah. Is it once you got the logo, you decided we need an intro? This logo's so good. Is Sid featured in this intro?
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah.
He's the whole intro.
I'm on board. We got Sid.
Oh
hell yeah. He looks kind of like Tom from Tom and Jerry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the whole thing.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Little. All right. So we took the Donkey Kong music and we added a scream to it.
Nice.
And
is that the Donkey Kong rap?
Yeah.
From the N64 game?
Yeah.
Dude, one of my favorite podcast things I ever did back when the Loud Boys were still a podcast. I was on their Patreon. I was on an episode, and for the Patreon, we pulled up the Donkey Kong rap and just watched the full 3 minutes of it and loved it so much. We were like, you know what? We got to roll that back. Let's watch it again. Just watch it a second full time.
Right.
I can't imagine a subscriber to theirs who paid extra money to watch an episode where we watched the full Donkey Kong N64 rap twice.
What a middle finger.
Whatever happened to those guys?
Who, the Loud Boy? Yeah. Who knows? They got
one of them does
canceled.
a great new podcast, Locker Room Talk.
Oh, right. You have.
I took one of them. I took one of them.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I like all those guys.
Yeah, they're all very fun. But yeah, I love the N64 in general. Is that one I do think is one that I grew up with it, so I love it. But with the video game stuff now, I don't think anyone playing today's games could go back and still enjoy that unless they grew up with it.
I had Mario and I had Sonic, I think.
Yeah.
So I had it kind of the tail end of N64.
Okay.
And still a little kid, so GameCube was the next thing, and GameCube took over my whole life.
Yeah.
I loved it so much. We had Turok. Do you ever play Turok?
No, I don't know Turok.
That one is you're like.
Is it like a Guitar Hero type thing?
No, dude, it's fucking nuts. It's It's like it's an incredibly violent game, especially for like its time.
To rock. I thought, is it like to rock?
TUROK.
Oh, I'm thinking it was like to rock and roll.
No, that's
why I asked Guitar
gay.
Hero.
No, Turok was the shit,
yeah.
man.
Turok,
you were like this, like
yeah.
I guess like a caveman.
Yeah.
But there were like lizard people who you fought. It was kind of like Halo in that way.
Okay.
Where instead if you were Master Chief and you fought aliens in Halo,
gotcha.
You were like a caveman that fought lizard people.
Okay. I didn't get a lot of the
kind of like how we fight the government on this podcast.
Yes.
But you get guns and shit. There's dinosaurs flying around, and like they come after you also while you're getting shot at. So.
I had one of my neighbors had GameCube. After N64, I went to PS2, and then I went down to PlayStation for the next few years. And then I eventually just played sports games, and then now
that didn't matter what you had.
Yeah, now anytime I play a video game, if I do, it'll be a sports game. I generally don't, just because I get very obsessed, and it's just like, if I get MLB The Show this year, I'm going to lose the next 6 weeks of my life. Like,
right.
Yeah.
Just trying to get your guy to be like number one.
Diamond Dynasty, getting all my points up.
I tried the baseball once. What I don't like about that one is they truly make you suck. Like in Madden, if you do
play
it,
like
or in
your
2K.
I never really liked the create your own guy. I like the create your own team, like franchise modes.
I see. So you would like trade guys, get new guys in there.
So there's, I mean, some of the games now have like you make your own team and you can get like legends and stuff. But I used to, this is a few years ago when I had brain surgery. I had like 6 weeks at home, and my parents were like, "We'll get you a video game," and I got NBA 2K that year and just did franchise mode where I can just control control any team I want, and I controlled the Knicks and just played like 15 years into the future. And this is like 2018, 2019. So I had the Knicks draft Zion Williamson, trade for Durant and Kyrie, and win like 3 championships.
Nice.
Just like at the time, in hindsight, it's very funny that that's what the dream was for the Knicks. Fucking Kevin Durant, who is still great, Kyrie, who fell off the edge of the flat earth. And Zion Williamson, who, Jesus Christ, have you followed everything happening with him?
I know. I've been watching all of it. There was a meme page, and this might have been the funniest NBA year ever. And if you think about everything, holy shit.
The Kyrie juice stuff is great.
Best year for the NBA.
Yeah. And then just like Jokic wins the finals MVP and is annoyed when he finds out he has to stay an extra 2 days for the parade because he just wants to go home, and like he has a racehorse in Serbia.
Yeah.
And all he wants to do is go home to his horse.
Right.
And they like tell him in the post-game press conference, the parade's on Thursday. He's like, "Oh, I want to go home," and the guy's like, "You can go home Friday." He's like, "Okay."
I guess
He's like
go home Friday.
He is the most this is just my job athlete I've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
As soon as the game was
no
over,
extracurriculars.
As soon as the game was over, the woman like interviewing him asked, "How does it feel to be Finals MVP?" He's like, "The job is done. I want to go home."
They're so scary. The Serbians, you're frightening.
Yeah.
He's just cold about it.
Yeah. He like doesn't seem to like the spotlight at all. He like, someone asked about how many texts he's getting. He's like, "Let me check." And he looks at his phone. He goes, "Oh, I'll turn that off," and throws it away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's nuts.
Yeah. But he's also like, I'm sorry, you're a Miami Heat fan, but fucking, that was insane to watch. Jokic is like a cheat code.
Yeah,
he just like does anything he wants.
Right. Well, I love watching Miami in the playoffs because I try to like figure out for myself, like, what would I do? Like, how could you attack these teams?
Yeah.
And Denver was one where I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I got nothing.
It's tough because Miami's like, Denver's never even been in the finals, so historically they're the underdog. Miami was the underdog. They're the 8th seed, and even though they've won championships before, like this Miami team, just watching the games, Denver was such a better team. Miami needed guys to play way better than they are in order to win,
which they were doing the whole playoffs.
Yes, yeah. And
but
then it's just
you have a hurt Jimmy Butler.
Yeah,
you could tell that he just wasn't 100%.
Yeah,
Bam Adebayo.
Yeah,
he went off.
Yeah,
I was like, this guy's great.
Yeah,
missing Tyler Hero desperately.
Yeah,
Victor Oladipo, him too. But yeah, you're asking Gabe Vincent and Max Strus
and Caleb And Caleb Martin.
You're asking to play way up. And Caleb Martin, I felt like lived up to it.
They did pretty well, but then there's
the
just
other
a couple
two
games there'd be a couple games in the finals where they just didn't do much.
Right.
And then just the Nuggets is like everyone, even the guys who aren't the stars, all Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter have to do is just be who they are.
Yeah.
They don't have to be better than they are. Jokic is the last game was like so many missed shots. It was like kind of an ugly game, a good defensive game. And then at the end, you see after so many missed shots, Jokic 12 for 16. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
He's still unbelievable.
Yeah, no, he's insane. There's like no answer for him.
They took away like 10 assists from him just because of how many of his teammates missed open shots. When he gave them perfect passes.
Oh yeah. Well, if you were watching a bunch of it, Jimmy Butler also perfect passes to wide open guys.
Yeah.
I felt like they played well in getting shots.
Yeah.
But they weren't making the fucking shots. And then if you don't do that, you try and go inside. And when you're trying to fight Jokic and Aaron Gordon the whole time, it's not going to work. If Bam Adebayo is the only guy who's like doing anything.
Yeah.
And it's like I was trying to like look at like Washington and go like, what would the answer be? And the only thing I come up with is let Jokic do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
And try to stop Murray and Gordon.
Yeah.
And really that is the answer.
Yeah.
But good luck.
Yeah, the thing is, Jokic is he's similar to like what Wayne Gretzky was in hockey. That Wayne Gretzky was the best passer of all time.
Right.
He had more assists than anyone, and they were like, okay, we're gonna cut off his passing lanes, and then he became the greatest goal scorer of all time because they just weren't guarding him.
All right, well then I'll just be selfish.
Jokic is kind of like, if you're like, oh, let's let Jokic do whatever he wants. Like whatever he wants is to pass to other people too. So like he can do everything.
Right, but.
Like, a lot of times, it's like when you have a guy who's like a scorer, like Carmelo Anthony, it's like, let him do whatever he wants, shut everyone else down. That can work.
Yeah. Because
he's not necessarily a playmaker. But if you let a playmaker do whatever he wants, you're going to get fucked.
Yeah, but I'm okay with Jokic having 47 if everybody else has 10.
Yeah.
You know?
I think if you can do that, but I think he's so good, he'll set up passing lanes. So you're not going to get the other guys to only have 10 because he's still going to.
You have to shut them down tremendously, and you just don't, especially someone like Aaron Gordon, you just don't have the size for it if you're Miami. And that's what it came down to in the against the Lakers in the bubble, and that's what it came down to, I feel like this year too, was you just don't have the size to compete with it.
But I won $100 for the Nuggets winning.
Really? I put like $100 on Miami because I was like, I'll fucking win everything if I do this.
I just had a bet with a friend who I think is going to stop betting with me because we bet on the XFL championship and I won. And we bet on the NBA finals and the Stanley Cup. In the Stanley Cup, I took Vegas when they're one game away from winning as of this recording. They may have won or blown it. I don't want to jinx it yet. I feel like hockey's the most unpredictable. Like down 3-1, coming back has happened. Like it's not crazy. So I may be jinxing it.
It's Panthers versus Vegas?
Panthers versus Vegas. That's why I think we had the Canadian wildfire smoke. Canada was pissed that we have Vegas and Florida competing for the hockey championship.
Be better, you leaf fuckers.
Yeah. Canada hasn't won a Stanley Cup since 1993.
Oh, sounds like you don't deserve
Canadian
it.
team. Yeah. I think there's been a few who've made it to the finals, and there was Toronto was like in the second round, I think, this year. I think no one even made it to the conference finals.
How many Canadian hockey teams?
I think 8, something like that.
Really?
Yeah,
that's a lot.
There's Edmonton, Calgary, Vancouver, Ottawa, Toronto, Montreal. Did I say Calgary? Edmonton, Calgary.
Winnipeg.
Winnipeg. 7. I think there's an 8th one. I feel like I'm missing one.
I don't know.
I don't know, but 7 or 8.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah. Well, it's fucking hockey.
It's hockey. That's what they do over there. But
my the bet I've been having going, it's with an old wrestling friend of mine, and it's if I win, I get $100. If I lose, I have to post a thirst trap on my Instagram.
So where do you lose?
So my friend who makes the bet knows I never want to do that.
Right. Okay.
And we're a wrestler. Everyone who, especially pro wrestling, you have body issues.
Gotcha.
But it was at XFL championship. We were just talking about it. I'm like, I think this team's gonna win. It was like one team was 5 and 6, but
so are you doing this like months ahead of time?
No, so it was for the XFL championship. We made the bet.
Okay.
And I said, we just talked about it. I'm like, I think this team's going to win. I think that team. And I said, I'll bet you $50 on it. And he said, let's make it 100. But if I win, I won't, if I win, I don't have to give you $100, but you have to do something I make you do. But he wouldn't tell me what it was until I agreed to the bet. So we spent about 30 minutes negotiating what it couldn't be.
Okay.
Like, first rule was no public N words. I had to put a lot of qualifiers in there. And then eventually it was that I would have to put a thirst trap on my Instagram story, and it would have to be up for the full 24 hours. And there were I negotiated I would be able to say I lost a bet in the previous story or the one after, but on the actual story, no captions. It's not allowed to be funny. No bits allowed. It just has to be me without a shirt on in a mirror. Exactly. Yeah.
Just trying to like be like a model about it.
Exactly. Yeah. It just
I don't even know
has
how to
be,
do it.
Yeah. Well, because I used to take 8x10s when I was wrestling, so I know the angle I'm supposed to stand in for my body to look good. But I also would never. I have fat hips, so I got to stand to the side.
Oh yeah, I have the same issue, buddy. It's,
yeah.
I look like an hourglass, dude.
Yeah, no matter at the best shape I've ever been in, I still have like the hourglass shape.
You know what? That's not bad though.
For a good
People like
dude.
It. People like it.
People like the hourglass shape
They
on
love
the dude.
Because
the V shape, no one likes that.
No, they love that.
Yeah. Oh, but they love that, but they like the hourglass.
They like that. They're fine with it.
Yeah.
This is why I am what are they called? Incels?
Yeah.
I am going more and more against them because the more women I can like get with that go like, I like your body. Like, then I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep this going.
Yeah. No, most incels, like if
It's
they
not that
put
hard.
in some effort, they would be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't even put that much effort into like your body. Just put it into like who you are.
Yeah. Some of them I think can't help who they are.
Right. Well, it's like
I think sometimes you need the body. Some people need the body.
If you don't
There are
have the
some people
personality, you need the
There
body.
are some people who are really in shape that get
Yeah.
laid a lot that are just the fucking worst people.
Right.
They need to be in shape.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. You're correct.
There are a lot of wrestlers I've known who got laid a lot that would never have gotten laid if they were not in shape. And they thought that they were like fucking ladies men and they had game. They just had abs.
No, you're just hot, dude.
They have abs, that's it.
Right.
Yeah.
You couldn't talk someone into fucking.
Exactly, yeah.
That's what's really impressive. That's what makes you a good man.
Yeah.
If you could talk somebody into doing it.
Yeah, what it is that they think that all the lines they've done have worked for them. I think that's why like guys who used to be in shape are like the biggest fucking assholes because they think like they're the shittiest with women because they think that the stuff they said in the past got them laid. They were always shitty.
Right.
They
You were
got
just
laid in
good looking.
spite. They got laid in spite of what they said.
Right.
Now they look like shit.
Women are nice.
Yeah, now they look like shit, and they're still being the same asshole they were, and now they're just an ugly asshole.
Right.
Yeah.
The guy who's like a really good in shape, like a Brooklyn Italian. I mean, he's got the hard Italian guy, fat belly.
Yep. Yeah.
And he's like, oh, these fucking cunts.
Yeah, all the most misogynist dudes are like the older guys who used to be in good shape.
Right.
Because they got laid and thought that it was because they were smooth and they know what women want.
No.
Yeah.
It's hard to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. The key is to not even try to know what they want.
Yeah. But yeah, so we'll see. If I win 3 bets, and my thought was I'll just keep trying to get as many $100 out of him as I could. At one point, he wanted to bet on every game of the finals, so I was like, let's spread this out a little bit, because yeah. Well, also the other side of it, like one, I like am self-conscious about my body, so I don't want to post it out there. But also, fucking comedians follow me.
Right.
Like ones that are
You're
further
gonna get killed in the comments.
Yeah, ones that are further along than me that I respect sometimes see my stories, and the idea of any of them seeing just a shirtless picture of me in the mirror, even if they don't respond, I'll know that they saw it.
But maybe like, you convince some of them that like you're hot shit. Huh?
You think Shane Gillis is gonna think I'm hot shit?
Yeah. For sure. He's gonna go, nice, dude.
Yeah.
You wanna get some beer?
Yeah.
He'll do that.
But,
Absolutely.
We'll see. After 3 if I win the Stanley Cup one, he may I mean, the next one would have to be the World Series unless he just like fucking wants to bet on, I don't even know what, like the US Open or whatever comes next.
Right.
Other shit.
Yeah, right
Yeah.
now
The French Open's happening now.
Oh, okay. Who gives
Yeah.
a shit? I know people really do care. I don't even know where to find tennis. I
I
wanted
think
to.
when I was growing up, I just watched Sports Center every day, and
Mhm.
ESPN would talk about tennis stuff. So I was always
Right.
kind of casually aware of what was happening.
Gotcha.
Now I'm not as much, even or with golf and stuff. Now it's
Mhm.
like because I don't have cable, I just watch stream. I have like the MLB app, and I watch
Yeah.
stuff that way. I'll go to a bar to watch a game,
Mhm.
so I'm not casually aware of sports that I don't know that I don't
Right.
actively follow anymore.
Right. Yeah, no, that's where I'm at with
Yeah.
it, where it's I guess if hockey ends today, let's
Yeah.
say, now you've entered the desert of baseball.
Yeah, I love baseball though.
Regular season baseball.
I grew up with baseball. I
Yeah.
love baseball. I have
I
the
can't do
MLB
it.
app, and it's like my favorite thing to just have on in the house. Just any baseball game.
Wow.
Brewers, Cubs. I don't care.
Wow.
And then every once in a while, I look up and it's like, oh, that was a really good slider. And then go back to whatever I'm doing. And then you hear a pop at the back. Christian Yelich home run. Maybe he'll get back to his 2018 MVP form. Back to what I'm doing. I love
Okay.
baseball. The
Gotcha.
culture of it, everything. Fucking the Yankees announcer just got hit by a foul ball yesterday. It was hilarious because he made like the old man noise. He did the ow, ow, ow. That really hit me.
He's announcing while he's getting hit.
And then just like a few seconds goes by and he goes, well, the count will be 3-2. Just right back into it.
Oh, and he hits it. The ball's going.
got
Oh
Stan.
my
Yeah.
God, it's right here. Ow, ow,
Yeah.
ow. Wow, that's going to leave a mark tomorrow. But anyway, folks, he's rounding the bases.
Yeah. We're
going
talking
on, guys?
talking some baseball. I'm trying to get
Oh.
Nick on board with baseball by telling him the
I won't
Yankees
do it.
announcer got hit by a foul ball.
Yeah, it
Now
was
I'm
funny.
in. That's all I needed to know.
Just announcers doing weird things in
Right.
baseball is my favorite. You ever see Vin Scully clips?
Yeah,
Of
they're
just
the
like
best.
him in the middle of a count. He would just he's like, this batter is from Venezuela, where they've got a socialist government. Socialism. The country's falling apart there. Socialism never worked it anywhere before, and people still want to try it here. I don't get it. Why is everyone trying to come here if socialism's so great? Anyway, counts 1-1.
I love that. I
Guys
love,
that do that have to know that they're being hilarious,
Yeah.
right? And it's-
Yeah. Well,
no,
that's
there's just so much time to fill. They,
Yeah.
they don't know what to do.
Well, the Vin Scully thing is also, and John Sterling for the Yankees too. These guys have been doing it for so
Yeah.
long. They're almost like they can get away with more because it's like they're beloved by the fan base.
Yeah.
They've been around for so long. No one's going to tell 88-year-old Vin Scully not to do it anymore. So he's just going to talk about socialism for
He's
a bit.
also- he was around when the Dodgers were still in Brooklyn. Like he was like ancient. So yeah, he could do whatever he want. Like newer guys, like the guy that the Kansas City guy, like he
Kansas City guy?
wasn't
or-
this Kansas City guy?
What did he
is that
do?
the guy who talked about Kansas City?
Yo, right,
Cincinnati
okay.
announcer. Do you know
Yeah.
about this, Nick? You will
No.
love this
Oh, man.
story. This is the greatest story ever.
It was a Cincinnati announcer, and he was. I
Yes.
think they were in Kansas City,
Yeah.
and he was. I think he thought the mic was off, and it was a hot mic, and he was talking about like. He was like, "Oh, just a bunch of Kansas City faggots or whatever." Like,
Yeah. Yeah. He
yes,
called,
yes, I remember this.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
was that the same guy that was in? Was it like Nick Castellanos was at bat?
Yes.
Oh,
So
he was apologizing, right?
So yes, the announcer Tom Brenneman, his dad
Brenneman,
Marty
right.
Brenneman, who is one of the like legacy Cincinnati Red announcers, his son is now announcing for them, and so yeah, he drops the slur on
son.
live
Yeah,
air,
yeah.
and then. In the middle, this was pandemic year too, so no one's in the seats. So he just,
He's just yelling faggot in,
Yeah.
an empty
Yeah.
stadium.
yeah, he's like, you hear nothing. No one's in the seats.
Yeah.
It's like commercial, but you just see a view of the field and you just hear him go, Kansas City, fag capital of the world. And then gets back to the game and you hear him go, he just says his other guy's name is going to be taken over for me for the rest of the game, which also means no one's like in the stadium at all. They had like an in case of slur replacement announcer.
Yeah.
There's just a guy
ready
there.
Just ready to go.
The fact that there was
Wow.
someone else there, I'm kind of like, who did
He's
they
been
have, someone
sitting
had
in
to
the back
drive
of the
in?
studio.
He's like in the bullpen warming up. He's
Yeah. And so he goes into his apologies like
While the game was happening.
the
by the
game
way.
is happening, and he's just like, yes, there was a word I said, and I am deeply, deeply sorry to anyone who was upset. I like to think of myself as a man of faith. And there's a fly ball to left field. It's a home run by Nick Castellanos. Anyway, I don't know if I'll ever work again. goes right back into the apology.
Oh man.
I like that he's still doing his job.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Bro,
he's still gonna
doesn't
call the
stop.
game.
Consummate professional.
There was a thing. Nick Castellanos just hit a home run like 2 days ago in Philly after like the I-95 collapse, and people
Yeah.
are sharing it like he always hits home runs at the worst time.
But no, if you look at Nick Castellanos' home runs,
There's a few of them.
Every time for a while, he would hit a home run, something weird, something messed up would happen. It was like, it was the funniest thing because he was with the Phillies at one point.
Yeah, he's
right?
still on the Phillies.
He's still on the Phillies. Yeah. He's. I mean,
Yeah,
that's a
that was
garbage
with the
city, so-
I-95. I think he hit one. He was on. That was with the Reds. And then he was on the Cubs maybe after that. Or
I think
before.
so.
I don't know. There's been a few where just he hits a home run and something weird
yeah.
happens, and it's just
That sounds great.
Or like something will happen in the news and people are like, all right, I think Nick Castellanos is going to hit a home run tonight.
He gets ready for the pitch.
Yeah.
He gears up for it. Home run, Nick Castellanos! And also 2 jets just flew into the World Trade Center.
I bet Nick Castellanos was playing Little League on 9/11.
Yeah, he had a home run for
he hit a home
sure.
run, Little League home run.
But yeah, I love I grew up with baseball, so there's such a culture to it and the announcers and the history and all that. So for me, and also with like the new rules, it's faster. I was watching the NBA finals in a bar and the baseball game was on next to it. And usually when a baseball and a basketball game are on, I'm more watching the basketball, and then when there's a break, I'll tune over to watch the baseball. I found myself doing the opposite because with the pitch clock, the game is going so much faster, and there's all these foul calls in NBA games that I found myself watching. There was more action in the baseball game.
Wow.
Yeah,
that was
like-
my issue with baseball for a long time is
Yeah.
you spend so much of it just waiting for something to happen.
Right.
Yeah. And thing is, that kind of like the pitch clock now, it's like you have 15 seconds to throw a pitch, 20 if there's runners on base. And people were saying like, oh, well, there's like, back in the day, these guys didn't have a pitch clock or whatever. But if someone took the pitch clock timer and put it back to like a fucking 1980 World Series, and they were all pitching fast. It's just guys started taking their time. Nomar Garcia Power's got a whole fucking routine he would
'cause
do
he's
between
fucking
every at bat.
autistic.
David Ortiz also, all the Red Sox, wasting our time.
Yeah. I remember the only Met that I remember being angry at was Steve Traxel. Steve Traxel used to they
As
called
a
him
pitcher, yeah.
They called him the human rain delay because he
Yeah.
took so long to pitch.
Yeah.
It took forever.
He's
Is that like a strategy?
some it
Some
could
people,
be,
yeah.
but now they're just. But I mean, fucking Bob Gibson didn't need to take his time when he was striking people out in the '60s. What the
Yeah.
fuck are you doing, Steve
Yeah.
Traxel?
Yeah.
Just be a
Right.
better pitcher.
4-hour games.
This is why you gave up Mark McGuire's 60-second home run. I know the names. There's some names I know because they're just answers to obscure trivia questions.
Right.
I know Steve Traxel. I'm like Mark McGuire's 60-second home run.
Yeah. Like when I worked in radio, like I'd get to work and I worked at WFAN. It was a sports talk station.
Oh, no, you
Yeah.
worked at the Fan?
Yeah. I
Hell
worked
yeah.
for like
That was
3
Mike and the
years.
Mad Dog.
I started right when they broke up.
Okay.
When they were taking out the signage from the studio.
yeah.
That was my first day.
Okay.
So I never got to meet Russo, but it was right in Astoria, and like whenever I would get to work and we had to do a Yankee Red Sox game, I was like, well, I'm gonna be here till fucking midnight. Like this is like because we had to cut the highlights up and you had to do the post game and all that stuff. And I'm like, these baseball games take so long now. Like I have a season ticket package. I go to a Mets game. I'm home by 10.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It sucks because
What was Mike Francesa like? Do you know anything about Mike Francesa?
I'm aware of these guys, yeah.
So Francesa, he's so funny because all the sports talk radio guys I think are just like underrated in that like they had to be kind of like a Rush Limbaugh where they have to be entertaining for so long on the radio for so long, and they're talking about sports. They'll take callers. Like it's such a difficult thing to do. Francesa was doing like 5 hours by himself at one point every day, but he's such a like hothead Italian dude that like.
He's so quick to call someone stupid.
Yeah.
And just like he falls asleep on air and people call him out on it and he yells at them saying, I would never do that. I'd hang up on this guy.
There was
It's
a highlight
3-minute rant on disrespectful fans calling in.
Right.
You can find a highlight package of Mike Francesa falling asleep on the air.
That's
It's hilarious. You'd always have his Diet Coke, but he had to have the label ripped off because the show was also on TV. It was on Yes Network.
Right.
So he had like you'd fall asleep. I never really interacted with him that much. Like because I was when he was there and I was there, I would come in the evenings, and I was doing overnights a bunch.
Yeah.
So I would work with like Steve Summers and Tony Page.
I called into Steve Summers.
Did you?
Once
When
I was in college.
What year was that?
2009 or so.
I was there.
So I called in. I remember my college roommate was a big sports guy too, and he used to listen to listen to Steve Summers.
Yeah.
And it was let's call in to Steve Summers, see if you can get on. He didn't want to. I'm like, fucking, I'll do it.
Yeah.
I was Matt from Stony Brook, and I asked about AJ Burnett's chances of doing well with the Yankees.
I wish I had known you then.
Yeah.
Oh, so I would have saved that.
Yeah.
That's so funny because I worked overnights. Like Steve Summers is like he's this tiny Jewish man who used to be real big fat guy in the 80s, and then he's from San Francisco, drove a Porsche, lived on in Chelsea somewhere, and he would just do whatever they asked him to do because he had a pretty good setup. So he would come on after Francesa at like 6:30, 6 o'clock or whatever. And then he would go up until like the Mets pregame. And then he would just go chill in his office, have coffee and smoke cigarettes for 3.5 hours, and then come back after the Mets game for like an hour, and then he'd go home. And he had like a crazy severance deal or whatever. Like if they fired him, he'd like recoup a ton of money, and he was great, nice guy, super nice guy.
Yeah.
He was always like really like detail oriented about like when we'd play. Like he'd have these like monologues written out. Hilarious guy. Like when I first started there, it was at Kaufman Studios.
Yeah.
So like when we got there, you would see old burn marks in the microphones from when he was smoking on the air.
Jeez.
Yeah. Just
That's
like
pretty cool.
7 half-drunk cups of coffee. Just like, he was doing rails of coke in there.
Yeah.
Because he lost a lot of weight. It was like,
That's how you do it.
Oh, yeah.
Coffee and Coke.
if you
Cigarettes,
ever...
that's it.
Sports talk radio,
Yeah.
I think, is like, so much of it now in hindsight, like, I think it's the original YouTube comments section.
Yeah,
where you just
yeah.
have random people calling in, being like, "This guy sucks."
Yeah.
Right, you're like,
Yeah.
he's great. What are you talking about?
Yeah. They became kind of characters of their own.
Yeah.
Like some of them, like by name, they'd get to know you, or even like listeners would know each other.
Yeah, there are certain listeners
Yeah.
who like would call in, and everyone just like knows
Yeah.
who this listener
To this
is.
day, like Short Al, Jerome in Manhattan, Ira from Staten Island, just all these, and they became legends. Like there was, I'll never forget, there was Jerome from Manhattan was a big Yankee fan, and he hated Mark Teixeira.
Yeah.
Hated him, and would never not tell you that. So one day there's a Mets game on, but there's a rain delay. So we go back to the studio, and when you have to ramp up the delay, because in case somebody curses on the air, there's a button you hit, dumps the audio. So whoever was working forgot to hit that button.
Yeah.
So there was no delay. Everything was as you heard it.
Yeah.
So Jerome in Manhattan calls in. He's talking about the Yankees, and I guess somebody give up a home run, and he says "fuck" live on air. And then the next day they fired the producer. They were like, "Nah, you're out." Just
one fuck.
yeah, just one fuck
Yeah.
got somebody fired.
Wow.
But these guys are psychos. They would like every hour, like they would call. They after a while they said they had a rule where you couldn't call the same show more than once.
Yeah.
So then they would just wait until the start of the next host.
Yeah.
Wow, and then just
They're-
call that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I always wonder who are the people that call. Like I called in, like me and my buddy in college, but in general, the people who call into the radio shows
When they
often,
like the people where they
Oh,
know
yeah.
your name.
Yeah,
and not even that, even just like me and like my friend are like kids in college, just like a fucking 40-year-old who's like, I gotta get some stuff off my chest.
Yeah. Right. Anthony from New Jersey has to start with his wife is a cunt, but also I have something to say about Jeremy Lin. And
Yeah.
I used to watch Mike and the Mad Dog. That's when I felt like I was growing up, is when I went from watching cartoons after school to either Mike and the Mad Dog or like the ESPN afternoon lineup, like Around the Horn, PTI.
Yeah.
If I got home early enough and it's like There was the slot before Around the Horn was always something different. Like it
it
changed
was like
every
NFL
few
Live
months.
or something like
There'd
that.
be NFL Live. I remember Dan Lebitard was
Dan
in there for a
Lebitard.
bit. I think like
Dan Libtard.
who is it? The Dan Libtard.
Wait, because
The,
I'm gonna do an impression of Dan Lebitard, so
yeah.
I can do a Dan Libtard impression.
Yeah.
What does he say? What does Dan Lebitard say?
Anything Miami related.
Anything Miami, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Poppy, what do you say? What do you have for us, Poppy?
Yeah, he'll say something like, yeah. He's
Poppy can be whoever he wants to be. Poppy started as a woman, but it's
Dan Libtard. Poppy loves his Bud Light.
I saw her the other night.
Who?
Dylan Mulvaney.
Dylan Mulvaney.
Yeah,
You were at the Tonys.
I was at the Tonys, yeah.
Oh, okay.
She walked right by me. I had no idea who she was. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, that's cool. Aaron Rodgers was there.
Oh,
Yeah.
hell yeah. They had all the gay celebrities.
We went down and because we went there. First off, to have all these affluent white people in Washington Heights was a bad idea. I don't know.
It was in Washington
Yeah,
Heights.
because
I was wondering. You said you were at the Tonys. I was like, "Where's Stan?"
Yeah, it was it's usually at Radio City, and
Okay.
they because Lin-Manuel Miranda is from Washington Heights, and he like pushed for them to have it uptown,
Right.
and to include the community, and they couldn't have included the community any less.
Yeah.
It was like barricades.
yeah.
Like everybody.
They told him that, and they went, "Yeah, we're not including the community."
Well, it would have been the first
Thanks
time there
for
was
the
a
venue.
Would have been the first time there was a non-white person
Yeah.
named Tony at the
Right,
Tonys.
Dude, like it was, you could just they were behind the barricades with their phones out, and I was like, this is not a good idea.
Yeah.
Like, and then it ended at like 11, and you're unleashing all these like rich white people into on 174th and Broadway. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What are you nuts?
Wait, you
like,
think they're not getting limos?
Yo, if nobody dude, a bunch of them
It
were
would
on the
be
edge.
funny if limos were getting stolen.
Bro, there were so many people
just
in
bouncing.
tuxes on the A train. It was hilarious.
Really?
Oh my god, it was the funniest
Yeah.
thing I've ever seen.
Wow.
Wow. What
Yeah,
was
the-
it? Have you ever been to? You
No, it's
said you've
first
never
time.
been to an award
Yeah,
show before.
first
What was your
award show.
first award show experience?
It was
like?
dope, man. It was
Yeah.
cool. Like, it was hot as balls in there.
Were you just there as a fan?
So my fiance works on Broadway, and
Okay.
they like if you I think if you work on a show,
Yeah.
you get tickets. So I was a +1.
God damn.
Um,
That's like you as a couple is like she can get you into the Tonys. You can get her into Steve Summers' Astoria studio with burnt microphones.
Not anymore. Not anymore. No, they turned that place around now.
Yeah.
I the best I can do. She can get me into Tony's. I can get her into Comedy Fight Club.
There you go.
I don't know if she needs you for that.
Yeah. Damn. There goes my hook. It was cool. Like, it was cool. Like, seeing celebrities and like how like it operates, and like, but it was weird because there's a strike. There's no
Writers.
There were no
Oh, yeah.
writers.
Was there a host?
Ariana DeBose hosted, but
Who did?
Ariana DeBose. She was in West Side Story.
Okay.
She hosted SNL once.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's
not
like
a comic, right?
no. She's a Broadway person.
Okay.
But like there were no teleprompters.
Okay.
So like everything that was said on stage was like what they wrote.
Okay.
Like the actors, whoever.
Did she do like a monologue?
Nah, not really.
Yeah.
Like they did like an opening dance number,
Yeah.
and then
There's no choreographer strike.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
The Tonys are in love. The Tonys can just do a dance.
Right.
Yeah, they
Fucking
do
the
whatever
Oscars
they
and
want.
the Emmys are fucked. they
Right.
gotta have a monologue.
You need a monologue.
Yeah.
So like even like the only joke, like at one point Nathan Lane and Matthew Broderick came out to present, and Nathan Lane made a joke, but like it's just like it's like a hack joke that anybody could make. So it was
Yeah.
like they didn't have to use writers, but
Right.
I mean
a guy like that gets away with that though. He could say any corny
Yeah.
garbage and
Yeah,
the whole
yeah,
room
yeah.
will explode for them.
yeah.
Well, there is also something to if you're not a comedian, you kind of should be saying corny stuff.
Right. Yeah.
No.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's That's fair. Sometimes I'm a little hard on people.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I don't want everyone to be if everyone
Right.
could say fucking brilliant thought of
Yeah.
one-liners, then what the fuck
Yeah.
are we
Yeah.
doing?
We're
Like-
just wasting our time here.
That's fair.
Yeah, I want everyone else to say kind of corny lines, so then I can be like, then people like need me.
Right.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
Right.
We're
They need
necessary.
writers.
We need writers.
yeah,
Even then, when he said, so basically it was like this big like theater, and he was like, this place is so whatever. It reminds me of Beyonce's screening room, and everybody's goes nuts.
yeah.
And then it got quiet, and I was like, who wrote that joke? And like people in my section started laughing. And I was like, see, this is why you need the writers.
I do love killing in the stands of anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like at a baseball game. Oh,
Uh-huh.
you would have so much. Back to baseball, you would have so much fun at a baseball game.
I've killed at Brooklyn Net games.
Oh, I bet.
Destroy.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it was
Yeah.
the best shit I've. I remember I took a date
Yeah.
to a Miami Heat Brooklyn Net game.
Right.
First, I was gonna bring like my brother, and he was like, "I can't make it." I'm like, "All right, we're gonna ask this girl that has no idea what's going on."
Yeah.
And I was like, well, "Let's make it fun." And I said, "All right, here are their names. I like a name like this is Tyler Hero, this is Bam Adebayo, whatever." And I went, "We're gonna have bits." So whenever Tyler Hero scores, I'm gonna go, "Yeah, Hero, let me squish that tush." I was sexually harassing the Miami Heat for a little bit.
Nice.
And once I started hearing the laughs, I
Yeah.
went, I'm gonna keep going.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And like if someone missed a free throw, I'm like, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
boy.
my big thing is picking players with funny names and then just going out of my way to
Oh, yeah.
cheer for them.
Mhm.
I did years ago at Mets games. I used to chant MVP anytime Lucas Duda came up, and I just did it earlier this year at a Yankee game for Franchi Cordero.
That's a good name.
It was me and Patrick Haggerty were at the game. We were like a ground ball to the outfield that he just picks up and throws in. We're like, way to scoop it up and throw it in, Franchi!
Franchi!
We're just chanting everything he does.
That's why I love sitting in the outfield. If you get close enough in the outfield, like you just yell at these people.
Yeah,
These
they hear you.
millionaires. Yeah, yeah. My favorite. I went to a Mets Rays game, and like we were behind the visitors dugout, and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna. I'll do research. I'll Google somebody. I'm like, let me find out as much about this guy as I can.
Right.
Malik Smith, who was a center fielder for the Rays, he's like at the top of the dugout. He's just standing there for 3 innings. For 3 innings, I'm screaming at him. Just like, you're from Tallahassee. Why didn't you go to Florida State? Couldn't afford it? Like I'll just rip. And then at one point in like the 4th inning, he turned around. He's like, what, man? Like, my bad.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
One of my favorite clips is even though it's against the Yankees, Garrett Cole is just throwing warm-up pitches and someone's recording them, watching him warm up before the game, yelling, "That was a ball!" on every warm-up pitch. That was a ball too. He's just practicing throwing in the bullpen.
It's just
No.
it's
Yeah.
Ah!
it's just animals that go to these games. Like the Shea Stadium, the visitors bullpen used to be in like there was a section called I think it was the Pepsi seats. I think it's the Coke corner now because it was sponsored or whatever. So
Yeah.
the visitors
In the 80s, Shea Stadium was the Coke corner.
I was gearing up to do that.
That was the home, that was the home dugout. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the visitors bullpen was right there, and like there was like a chain link fence, and like you were yelling directly into the bullpen. At one point, they were just like they boarded it up because it was just
People just screaming.
screaming, throwing fucking peanuts and shit. It was insane. It was insane.
Yeah.
The shit.
You're making millions.
Yeah, but like some
The
of the
peanut
shit.
hits you in the head.
I mean,
it's
I
fine.
just saw it it was a few years ago when they put up the nets going down the line because
Yeah.
enough kids got hit with foul balls that it's kind of like fucking over 100 years of playing the game. This is the first time we thought to do this.
Right.
Like every time there's like some sort of advancement for safety with baseball, it feels worse than other sports
Right.
because baseball's been around for 150 years, and it's
Right.
like you should have gotten some of this right by now. Like,
Yeah, some poor
Lawsuits
kid.
weren't a thing until recently.
Yeah.
That's probably what that is.
Some poor kid died in 1920. Like getting some player like let go of a bat and hit him in the head.
Yeah.
And like we're just like, nah, we're good. We're just.
I
Gonna
was
keep,
just talking to someone about this recently.
Shouldn't have sat there.
Do you know the story behind the Baby Ruth candy bar, like its name?
It was the president's baby, I thought.
Yes, but do you know why it's it is, but it isn't really.
Was it Woodrow Wilson?
No, Grover Cleveland.
Grover Cleveland,
So
okay.
Grover Cleveland in the 1890s has a baby, Ruth Cleveland. When she's 9 years old, she dies. Everyone had loved the little kid, and then it was like, oh my God, she died. It was a big national story. Baby Ruth doesn't come out till the 1920s at the height of the popularity of Babe Ruth. But if you're going to name a candy bar after someone, you got to pay them. So they named it Baby Ruth and said it was about a president from 30 years ago whose daughter died, just so they could capitalize on the popularity of Baby Ruth.
That's so funny.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
My favorite conspiracy theory.
That bitch is dead.
Yeah.
I have to pay that.
Yeah.
My favorite conspiracy theory to spread about Babe Ruth is that he's actually Dominican.
Yeah, isn't there something that he's like potentially
Because
he was adopted?
Yeah, nobody knows what his background was.
There's no way just a white guy would have been that much better than everyone else in 1920 in baseball.
Hey, why not?
If you ever look at pictures of Babe Ruth, he's got some big lips. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he had big everything.
That's true. I don't know.
Yeah, a fucking pig nose.
I love
shit.
to tell nothing makes me laugh more than like going on social media and telling white guys that love baseball that like no, he was Dominican. It was Jorge Herman Ruth.
Yes.
Instead of George Herman. No, this is Jorge
yeah.
Herman. What are you talking about? They get so mad. It's like, I don't give a shit.
He was the biggest prima donna too. Like if there
Really?
was social media today, he would have been fucking annihilated.
Yeah.
He missed the
Really?
first 2 months of a year because of an illness that was probably syphilis.
Yeah.
He played right field because in Yankee Stadium, usually he would have been a left fielder because right fielder you need probably like a stronger arm. I think they had a left fielder who was better suited to play right field, but Babe Ruth didn't want to play in the sun. So when they played the Cardinals in Busch Stadium in the World Series, he played left field because the way their stadium was built, it was the left field that was in the shade and right field in the sun. He was so good. He was like, I don't feel like playing in the sun, so or else I won't play. And they just like, all right, I guess
If
we'll.
Babe
Being a big fat, letting the ball go by him and shit.
Yeah.
If Babe Ruth gave a shit, oh my god,
Right.
he would
He's
have.
like lightly jogging. To
Yeah.
balls.
It's insane. Like you when you compare like eras, Chris Russo I think today was talking about the finals, and he was like, well, this isn't the '86 Celtics. And are you
shut up.
insane?
I love Chris Russo.
He annoys
though.
me with that shit.
Yeah.
He does, but I love that he does it.
He won't stop.
I
And
mean,
you're like,
I do think there's I think he will go too far with it sometimes where I don't agree, but I think a lot of commentators don't talk about history enough. And
That's true.
There's like too much recency bias, and there's not a lot of talk
because they're
about
better.
But also like Jamal Murray. Who won the '86? Dennis Johnson was not stopping Jamal.
No, who Pistol Pete?
Oh, well, no one. That's the thing. I was talking to my dad about this. My dad's a big baseball guy from grew up watching Mantle and stuff.
Yeah.
And so his thing is always, the worst player today is you take them as they are now, they're better than in the 50s. But take that individual and raise them in a time where they had to work a job in the offseason, didn't have gyms like they have today, nutrition like they have today. Take Wilt Chamberlain and give him all the advantages and advancements we have today. Maybe he's not as good as Giannis, but he's, I think, way better than you. I think you can only really compare
Really,
people
you're just talking about potential talent then.
Yeah, but I'm just
But then you're gonna go in circles forever.
You also don't know what someone's mental issues or whatever are. I think you can only really compare people against who they played against, and look at the greatness of that and be able to appreciate that. But I mean, it's just a fun barbershop conversation, and for TV and radio to compare the
comparing
eras.
eras is tough because it's like all right, like you say this year's Nuggets versus the '86 Celtics. What rules are we playing by? Are you playing the '80s rules? Are we playing now? Like do
we have a 3-point line?
Do we have a 3-point line? Can we hand check? Like there's
Can we smoke during halftime?
Right.
Like there's a lot of things to consider.
Yeah.
Right.
But
although I do think Jokic is he'll feel right at home.
Yeah.
I think he's fine.
He doesn't even want to be here.
But I do think there is it's still impressive that Babe Ruth hit more home runs than other teams.
Yeah.
No matter what the era is, that level of dominance, I think you compare people what was Jordan in his prime? What did he mean to the culture, to the NBA? Can you compare that to a Bill Russell, a LeBron, a Kareem? That's where I think you can try and make comparisons. It's still really hard.
You can only compare styles of play, I feel. That's why the Jordan LeBron thing kind of gets on my nerves.
They're so different.
They're too different.
Yeah.
And
Kobe Jordan is a better comparison.
Well, Kobe just used Jordan's game.
Basically.
So
I always say I take Jordan over LeBron as far as just who they were as a player because
mindset.
I think
LeBron's
LeBron's a good person. and I think Jordan is not.
Yeah, right.
Jordan's the villain.
Jordan's punching his teammates in practice.
Yes.
Right.
LeBron is probably a better teammate, a nicer guy to hang out with, more fun.
Sure.
If he's on the movie set for Space Jam, like you like him, he never got his father killed. So I think
that's the important thing. That's the important thing.
Right.
Is that LeBron James never got inadvertently got his dad killed.
So I think that LeBron is like a better human being and a more healthy human being.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan is not as mentally well, but that's why he was like more of a psycho.
He's got killer instinct, though.
Yeah. That's why he was more of a psycho, and that's what made him like that dude.
You ever hear that?
He's that dude in a way that LeBron can't be. But LeBron is also fucking. I hate the conversation because you have to like talk down the greatest player of our generation, who's like unbelievable.
Guy went to 10 finals in a row.
Exactly.
And you're like, but he didn't win all of them. And you're like, but the talent right now, it's like every team has at least a Scottie Pippen.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I do think when people make the talent argument, they're downplaying the talent Jordan went against. There were some those Sonics, Jazz,
I
Suns,
agree.
Blazers teams. There are guys who are all-time greats who don't have a ring because they played at the same time as Michael Jordan.
Oh,
the year Barkley won MVP.
Yeah.
He was unreal.
Yeah.
Right.
And they lost to the Bulls. Like it was like like
the Sonic, Gary Payton and Sean Kemp, Stockton and Malone. Literally any other era. These are
Kevin Johnson.
These are all-time great teams and players.
I do agree with that.
Yeah.
Where but my counter to that is more teams have those guys. And some teams have 2 or 3 of those guys. So I think the talent is a lot better now.
I think this year specifically it got there in the last like year or so, but for a while it was kind of it's going to be Warriors Heat every year or Warriors Cavs. There were like 3 or 4 teams at most that had a chance of winning for a while, which I'm like a big NBA fan, so I love.
Well, that was
like
when just stars were just going to one team.
But I'm a big NBA fan, so I love when it's like Suns Bucks. I love a Nuggets Heat thing.
Yeah.
I love when there's like the playoffs starting.
Right.
Sometimes there were like some series where it's like because I'm watching the Stanley Cup also, which is the most unpredictable, and for like no reason. And then like the NBA is happening, and it's like, well, this team upset this team. It's like, well, Giannis missed 2 games because of injury. Like a lot of times it feels like the reason an upsets happen is because Kawhi is out. This guy's out. Like in the NHL, the Panthers beat the Bruins in a 7-game series, and the Bruins had the best record of all time, and they just lost in round 1. And that's just the way it happened.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I thought that, Giannis being out, that argument's been annoying me for weeks now.
I mean, I don't want to say
he was out for 1 game.
I don't want to say it to take away from like the Heat because I love them making the finals, but it's one of those like there's a thing where you could say there's no thing for upset for
there are things too like Tyler Hero was out in game 1.
Yes,
Jimmy Butler was playing on a bum ankle since game 2 of the Knicks.
Yeah, but I just like when the upsets that have happened in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Honestly, the Knicks, they took a championship away from us.
Yeah, there's no.
You're welcome, Denver.
There's no like top Bruins player that was out for any of the games.
Right,
because hockey players are psychos and they're like they'll play with
stay in all
broken
day.
legs.
Yeah, they'll lose.
There was one dude on the bench of a game just like smelling salts. You've seen people's reactions to one little sniff from a smelling salt.
Right.
This dude's on the bench like all around his face and going like a little flinch. Just to get himself up for the next.
They're the scariest people.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Insane.
They're probably the toughest professional athletes.
I think so.
Maybe boxers.
Maybe UFC.
Yeah,
guys,
yeah.
But I mean, even they're not doing it as often. As
UFC fighters also have that insanity thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm still gonna give it to hockey players.
Yeah.
Yeah, hockey players.
They take like a UFC fighter gets a fist to the face.
Yeah.
Multiple times.
Yeah.
But a hockey player gets a
shoulder to the face,
a shoulder, a stick.
Yeah.
A small,
potentially a blade.
Yeah.
I was at a game where a guy got hit
basically is what a puck is when it's being.
I was at a game where a guy got hit in the eye with a skate.
Fuck.
Guy fell down forward, foot up behind him into someone else's eye. He like retired the next year.
Jesus Christ.
The next year.
Yeah.
Well, I think he was out, and I think he tried playing a little bit, and then he was already towards the end of his career anyway.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, I don't need that eye no more anyway.
Also, hockey fights are the best.
Yeah.
I love that they still let them. They don't happen as much, but it actually. I watched a documentary on it. it like keeps the game safer because guys will cheap shot players.
Yeah.
And
Right.
if you cheap shot my guy, if you ever cheap shot at Wayne Gretzky, Dave Semenko was beating the
Yeah.
shit out of you. So
Yeah.
people
Right.
didn't do it. Sidney Crosby, more concussions
Right.
than any star
Let
player
them punch
ever
each other in the
because
face.
Sidney
Right.
Crosby doesn't have an enforcer.
Right.
Right.
Sidney Crosby, way more concussions than Wayne Gretzky.
Mhm.
What's scary too is like a lot of those Eastern European guys that play hockey are athletic enough to play other sports, and now some of
Yeah.
them. Jokic is just a hockey player that grew too big.
Yeah.
Right.
Like he's just a hockey. He's just he's like. There was a point, I forgot who it was. I think it was Mirza Teletovic. There was a game. I think it was like a Cavs, maybe a Heat when he was on the Nets. Mirza Teletovic, and like something happened. There was like a scuffle, and they separated him. And he was smiling like
Yeah.
Mirza
All
Teletovic.
those guys are all
Yeah,
scary.
they're like
Kirilenko
psychos.
was like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Yo-
came from
yeah.
war-torn countries.
I mean, Jokic is, we were talking about it earlier. You seen his post-game interviews? There's
Yeah.
no emotion. He's just
Yeah.
like, the job is done. Let's go home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to go
Crazy.
feed my horses. Like,
Yeah.
that's why. Like, I think the perception was in the 80s and 90s is that European players were soft.
Yeah.
I think it's flipping. I think it's
Yeah.
flipping nowadays. Like-
You're talking about different Europeans, I think.
Well, no, I think a lot of the American.
Nikola Jokic would fuck up Tony Kukoc.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Right.
Listen, Manu Ginobili is not fucking.
Drazen Petrovic got taken out by a car.
Right.
Like-
Right. You needed the
went
car.
too far. I mean, guy was going too fast. No, but like I feel like the American.
I thought you like Formula One
Yeah.
over there.
Right? A lot of these
Yeah.
American-born players, I feel like, especially with AAU, they're teaming up a lot younger. They're like,
Oh
they're-
yeah,
like-
they grew up as princes basically.
right.
A lot
yeah,
of them.
Yeah, a lot of them.
That's why Tatum. It's a big story that he calls a dead guy's cell phone.
Yeah, it's weird,
And,
dude.
Wait,
it's
what was
weird.
that?
Tatum.
He
like,
calls Kobe's cell phone.
Yeah,
Like
he'll like text Kobe.
yeah.
Like
I hope the phone is still on
Yeah.
and like the wife gets
Somebody
it.
else it's just Jason Tatum's number is like that.
Right, the number's not saved.
Or it's still out somewhere in the middle of like a forest in California where the helicopter crashed.
It's just ringing.
Someone gets some signal and then
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh, I think we got something down there," and it's just Jason Tatum calling Kobe's phone.
It's like, "What up, Kobe?
Yeah.
I just dropped 30
Yeah.
for you." Like, all right, bro, relax.
Imagine if Tatum's phone was hotwired to trigger an explosion in a helicopter.
It's his fault. Or like his call was fucked up to like the wiring or whatever.
right,
The
right.
coordinates.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no,
Yeah.
whose phone is that? He would never play again.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not gonna say he's soft. I don't know. I can feel
Jason Tatum.
like I just feel like a lot of
He quit.
there are very
It looked like he quit.
there aren't a lot of these tougher NBA like American born NBA. Jimmy Butler might be the last of a dying
Jimmy
breed.
Butler. I love Jimmy Butler.
I love him.
He's
I want
the
him to
last-
stay there forever.
Like
Yeah.
the stories you hear are Jordan-esque. And
Yes.
like when you hear
Yeah.
about him in practice and like screaming at people.
Yeah.
Like we talk about social media and like what social media, if Jordan was around with social media, he would have been ruined.
Yeah.
Like some of the stuff like that Jimmy Butler is doing is sort of on that level, but not quite. And I think like
Michael Jordan ever bang Rachel Nichols?
did
That's the rumor. That
Really?
The rumor.
Oh, yeah?
It's just a thing people say on Twitter.
Jimmy
they
Buckets,
They
man.
did an interview where like he made some joke and she's trying to smile and people were like, Jimmy Butler hit Rachel Nichols in the bubble. I don't know. It's just things people say on Twitter.
Oh, yeah,
It's fun. I like
saw
to
he
think
went
it's
on a
true.
date with Selena Gomez.
Yeah.
Like, they got that was like a couple years ago.
Yeah.
There was that one. There was he's got like weird ones too, where it's like his teammates in Marquette would like they would be disgusted by him because he'd be like in the locker room watching Hannah Montana. So it's like he's got weird shit like that.
he's the last of a dying breed.
Yeah, he's
I
one of the
just-
best NBA players of all time and also likes Hannah Montana, the
Yeah.
best of both worlds.
Yeah, exactly. What's not to love? Like
I can talk about sports for an hour and then do a little Hannah Montana
Hell yeah.
pun.
Yeah.
Every time I hear a weird Jimmy Butler story, I'm like, I like him more.
Me
Like,
too, yeah.
He takes a minivan to the stadium. And you're
Yeah.
like, what? That's great.
Awesome.
Like
Love
when,
that.
when people
Plays
were talking about
Nickelback.
Yeah.
when people were talking about like Karl Anthony Towns getting traded to the Knicks, I'm like, do you know what would happen to his psyche if he came here? Like New Yorkers would ruin him.
I love Cat though. I was at a game. I was
He's talented, but
in San
he's soft
Antonio.
as
I
baby
was in
shit.
San Antonio last year for a friend's wedding, and while I was there, I was like, let me see if I can get to a Spurs game. And I went to a Monday night Spurs Timberwolves game, and Cat dropped 60.
I mean, he's good.
To be there live for a 60-point game is just a wild thing to watch.
He's good, but like I don't know. Yeah, I feel like
I do think the soft stuff was like when he was like younger. I feel like he's got it more under wraps now. Like he's. They were pretty good this year.
What I want is like I want a KG again. I want somebody like that.
He's my guy. Like Shaq was my favorite player growing up. I think we grew up in like the best era of power forwards.
Yeah.
Because now it's like I was spoiled by it, but now I'm just like, why aren't there like 5 great power forwards? 'Cause I grew up with it's Tim Duncan, Dirk Nowitzki, KG, later on Blake Griffin.
Yeah.
Fucking
even Stoudemire,
Chris Webber, yeah.
I watched Barkley,
Karl Malone,
the Taylor
Barkley,
and Karl Malone.
Right.
Yeah, it was just all these great fours, and now there's
that was
like,
the end of the big man being
because the
like
big
relevant. And then for a long time it was nothing.
Yeah.
And now they're relevant again.
Yeah, but you had the big men back then, and then in addition to the big men, you would have their power forward.
Yeah.
Right.
A lot of times the power, like fucking Karl Malone was the Jazz's power forward. No one knew who the fuck Greg Ostertag was.
Right.
He was
Matt
their
Geiger?
center.
Wasn't Matt Geiger there for a little while?
I think so, yeah.
Mehmet
Okor. There's a name. The random giant white centers who had a better power forward than them.
Travis Knight.
I
could go down a list of random white tall guys.
Yeah.
Sean Bradley.
Sean Bradley's the random white tall guy. He's there was like an ESPN like short documentary on him where he's just now back to being a Mormon missionary in Utah. But he's just like 7'6" dude squeezing into a tiny car. That's because he was a BYU grad.
Was he in Space Jam? He was in Space Jam, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Fucking the Australian guy that was on the Bulls.
Luke Longley.
Luke Longley.
Yeah.
His power forward was
Their power forward I think was Horace Grant.
Yeah,
Horace
and then
Grant,
Dennis Rodman.
Then Rodman.
The also George Murasan.
Oh,
right. He was in that movie with Billy Crystal.
Yeah. He died because he was too big. He was just
imagine just like being a giant guy who's not even that good, but you're giant, so you get to be in a movie with Billy Crystal.
Right.
Knowing you're gonna die.
What'd you do to get here? I grew.
Yeah. I just exist. we should wrap up, huh?
Really? Are we at time? Yeah, 7:50. Oh shit.
We're at time.
This has been great. Even though I fucking before we go, let me just tell you the MTA.
Now it's time for the excuse.
I'm gonna run for mayor. I'm gonna fix this city.
The MTA is ridiculous.
I left my place at 5:40.
Don't run for mayor if you're gonna have to take a train to your speech.
Dude,
honestly,
I left
the MTA. Here's how you know the MTA is so bad. Name any other organization that has to constantly remind you that it's against the law to abuse their employees.
That's true.
Constantly like, by the way, it is against the law to assault an MTA official. Why do you always have to say this?
In the bus.
On the bus.
And on the train.
You have to constantly remind us that's an issue.
Dude, I mean, then stop hiring the worst people on the planet.
Well, that's the thing. Like the subway system is so antiquated. They can't update it, and they have to keep hiring these people to run this shitty system. It's bad. Like I left my place at 5:40. I took.
You sound like an Italian.
Oh my
guy
god!
Right now.
I have so many.
I remember I posted on Twitter once. I'm surprised there's never been an attempted assassination attempt of an MTA chairman, and got a phone call from like an investigator.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And they were like, and the guy seemed annoyed because I was talking to him, and he was like, we just see certain words. We got to call him. Like, I'm sorry, I could take it down. I'm a comedian. He's like, I saw that in your profile. I know you probably didn't. Like, he
fucking leave it up.
He just like had to call.
Give somebody an idea.
It's his job to go. Don't kill the chairman.
Yeah, don't even say, don't do it because I didn't say to do it. Don't use the word assassination. With the public official in any way. So I did. I put up another post instead where I said, I hope that the chairman of the MTA one day is suffering from a serious medical condition and is
undisclosed
is on the subway, and then his train decides to run local instead of express, and he dies because of it. And like, that's not me. That one was okay. That can stay up.
Yeah.
Where I can just say, I hope that his own fuck ups kill him. No one else. No one should. No person should. His own incompetence should.
His existence should end his life.
Right,
dude.
He should have a thing.
I took the
and then have to take a train.
I took the N to the M, thinking, all right, the M it will skip a bunch of stops. So the M stops at like West 4th. It's not moving for like 20 minutes. Fucking 3 Fs come. I finally take an F. I get out like the
3 Fs come is what I said when I went to the Tonys.
Actually, I know an announcer who should have hosted the Tonys.
Tom Brenneman at the. So I get on the F. I go one stop. It's like, all right, we're running on the D line. So I get off. There's another F. I take that one stop, and then I get to Delancey. The same M that I was on the first time is the one that pulls up. What the fuck? Yeah. Like this city.
When you are yelling about the letters of trains, it does sound like you are censoring a slur.
These N's, these N's are getting away with it.
Fucking the N is always late,
right?
Don't even get me started on the F.
And the J's.
Yeah.
I mean,
the fucking yellow line, the yellows.
All right, let's wrap this up.
The yellows have been acting up since COVID.
I mean, that's.
And why do the L's keep moving in together after 2 moves?
I never let my daughter date a 3. I'll tell you that much.
My daughter is a 3.
My daughter's a mix. She's a 4 and a 3. She's half 4, half 3.
Ugh. I don't want you talking to them.
Yeah.
Gotta separate.
Yeah.
Separate but equal. All right. Nick, what do you got coming up, man?
This Saturday I am headlining at Duff McDuff's in New Jersey.
Okay.
In Waterford Works,
all right,
New Jersey. I'll be with Brian Vallone, Kate Laverne, and Aaron Bell and Pete Eckenworth, Pete. And the end of this month, we have Little Victory Theater on the 29th. And then the 28th, Nardi's Tavern in Long Beach Island.
All right. Matt Maron?
We got Comedy Fight Club, YouTube channel, youtube.com/Comedy Fight Club. The last main event that was up there was Stan in the main event versus Pat Haggerty. Our first main event of Pride Month.
Yeah. He just spent 8 minutes calling me a homo.
Yeah. But he did it in a good way.
He did do it in a good way.
Yes, it was for Pride.
Yeah.
Stan to Lewis. What a fag.
But yeah, we have all the new fights on the YouTube channel. We have our Philadelphia episode we did over Memorial Day weekend's going to air this week.
I was in that one.
Yeah, you were on that one.
Oh,
yes. Yeah. So Nick will be on that one that's airing probably by the time this comes out. Then Instagram at Comedy Fight NYC for all of our future shows. We got a show at the Stand coming up June 25th. It's early, 5 p.m. So we do well on the early ones. So they keep giving it to us, which is annoying, but because I'd like to be it later. But we need people to come out to them. So June 25th, 5 p.m. at the Stand. If you can come out to it. If anyone watches this in Rhode Island, July 15th, we're doing a fight club in Woonsocket, Rhode Island. Okay. We'll be posting about it. Also, Locker Room Talks, the podcast with me, Joe Gorman, Bobby Sheehan, and I'm at Real Matt Maron on Twitter and Instagram.
I ain't got nothing. Book me. Father Knows Best every other Thursday.
I recommended you for Saturday.
Did you?
Yeah.
They were like, no blacks?
No, they just, I'm going to go with this other guy.
It's all good.
Sorry, Duff McDuff's is racist.
Yeah. Seriously.
I wear glasses.
I would be surprised if a bar in New Jersey named Duff McDuff's was not racist.
That's a good point.
I know, right?
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Sometimes people should be allowed to be what they are.
Right. I'm trying to make my material more racist.
I hung out at a friend's show in Harlem, and I was upset by how many white people I saw gentrifying.
That's too much. That's too much.
I'm like, I grew up in Queens. I'm like, if I'm going to Jackson Heights, I want to be going to Jackson Heights.
Right.
I'm against gentrification also.
Hashtag not my Jackson Heights. Jackson Heights has hit a new low.
Yeah. Used to be old Michael Jackson Heights. Now it's new Michael Jackson. White Michael Jackson Heights.
Don't like it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. That's been the show.
Bye.